Step into a secret world where hidden shimmering trails lead you to unexplored lands brimming with magic and mystery, each invisible boundary a doorway to adventures waiting to unfold. Welcome to Explain Like I'm 5, where we take mind-bending topics and break them down into fun, easy-to-understand stories. Ready to get curious? Let's dive in! Imagine the world as a giant, colorful picture book. In this book, every country is like its very own drawing, and the lines that separate these drawings are called borders. At first, these lines might seem like just simple marks on a piece of paper, but they're really much more. They help people know where one country's rules end and another's begin, just like the lines in your favorite coloring book keep each picture neat and tidy. Think about your playroom. Maybe you have one corner for building blocks, another for drawing, and another for reading. Now imagine if someone drew a special line on the floor to show where each game starts and ends. That's what borders do. They mark the space where one country's way of doing things stops and another country's way starts. A long time ago, people began living in different groups. As these groups grew into countries, they needed a way to say, "This is our home, and here are the rules we follow." So, they drew lines along rivers, mountains, or even deserts to show exactly where their special place was. Picture a giant puzzle where every piece is a country with its own unique design. The edges between the puzzle pieces are like borders. Just like a puzzle needs its pieces to fit together perfectly, the world needs borders to help everyone know where they belong. Without these lines, it would be like mixing up all the pieces and losing the beautiful picture. Borders help keep everything organized, making it easier for countries to work together and understand who is responsible for different things like schools, parks, and hospitals. Now, let's take a little adventure in our minds. Imagine you're walking through a sunny valley that smells like freshly baked cookies. Suddenly, you come to a big welcoming gate that reads, "Welcome to a new land." As you step through the gate, you notice that everything seems a bit different. Perhaps the language sounds new, the food tastes unusual, and the way people dress is distinct. This is because you've just crossed a border. Borders tell us that we are moving from one world into another, each with its own special customs and surprises waiting to be discovered. It's like switching from one cartoon channel to another, where every channel has a unique story and fun characters. Borders are important for many reasons. They help countries know who makes the rules, who takes care of the roads, parks, schools, and even the hospitals. Imagine you and your friends each have your own box of crayons. If you draw a line between your boxes, everyone knows which crayons belong to whom. In the same way, borders tell people which rules to follow and help protect the special things that make each country unique. Sometimes, crossing a border feels like stepping into a new adventure. When families travel to visit relatives or explore different cultures, they often need to show a special piece of paper called a passport. Think of a passport like a magic key that tells the border guards who you are and where you come from. The guards check your key, ask a few friendly questions, and then let you pass. It might feel a bit like going through a turnstile at an amusement park, but it's all part of making sure everyone stays safe and follows the rules. Of course, even though borders help keep things organized, they can sometimes create puzzles of their own. Imagine if a line on your playground ended up splitting a group of friends who just want to play together. Sometimes, countries disagree about where the borders should be drawn. A border might even cut through a place where people have lived for a long time, making it tricky to decide which side feels like home. When that happens, leaders from different countries have to sit down and talk it out, just like when you and a friend need to share a toy. It isn't always easy, but these talks help everyone feel respected and safe. Long ago, kings, queens, and explorers decided where borders should go by using nature as their guide. They looked at long, winding rivers, towering mountains, and vast forests to choose the best spots for these lines. Sometimes they even built walls or fences, like the little fence around your garden, to show where one area ended and another began. Today, even if you don't see a wall when you travel from one country to another, the idea of a border is still there, helping to organize the world just like the lines in a drawing. Borders also play a big part in how countries share things with each other. Imagine you have a toy that you want to trade with a friend. You would need to know which toy belongs to you and which belongs to your friend so that the trade is fair. Borders work in a similar way when countries trade items like fruits, toys, or even ideas. They make sure that everything exchanged is fair and that both sides understand the rules of the trade. Today, borders are getting help from modern technology. Imagine a giant digital artist using super smart computers to draw these lines perfectly. These computers use satellites to take pictures of the Earth, gather information about nature, and even listen to stories from the people living in these areas. In the future, these clever tools might help make borders that are even more fair, protecting nature and the people who live there. But no matter how smart the technology becomes, it's still important for people to work together and make choices that help everyone. Borders aren't just about the land we live on. They can also be found in the digital world. Think about the internet as a giant online playground. Just as physical borders help keep countries organized, digital borders help keep websites and online communities safe and fun. These invisible lines make sure that everyone follows the rules, whether you're playing a game, chatting with friends, or learning something new online. Even though borders sometimes cause disagreements, they also bring opportunities for learning and sharing. When people meet at the border, they often share stories about their families, foods, and favorite songs. These meetings remind us that while borders help organize our world, they also open the door to new ideas and friendships. Every time you cross a border, whether in your imagination or in real life, you step into a new chapter of an exciting story. Each chapter brings its own surprises, challenges, and moments of wonder. At their heart, borders are a tool that humans have used for a very long time to help build a safe and orderly world. They're like the lines in your favorite picture book that show where one drawing ends and another begins. These lines might seem simple, but they tell stories about history, struggles, and dreams. Borders remind us that every country has its own special way of doing things, and that understanding these differences can help us create a future where everyone feels welcome. Imagine that one day, the way we think about borders might change even more. With our super smart computers and the power of global communication, people are exploring ways to make borders that not only keep us safe, but also help us come together. In the future, borders might be more like gentle suggestions instead of strict lines, encouraging sharing and cooperation while still protecting the unique traditions of each country. So while borders might sometimes seem like just lines on a map, they are really the organizers of our world. They help countries decide who makes the rules, protect the special things in each place, and even guide the way we share and trade with one another. And even when challenges arise, the story of borders is one of learning, growing, and finding balance between staying safe and exploring new adventures. In the end, the secret of borders is all about balance, balancing the need to protect our own homes with the desire to learn from and connect with others. Borders remind us that while we may have our own special places, we all share the same big, beautiful Earth. Whether you're a child playing in your backyard or an adult planning your next adventure, borders help us know where we start and how we can explore further. And as our world changes with new ideas and technology, these invisible lines might evolve into something that brings us even closer together, while still celebrating the wonderful differences that make each country unique. Thanks for watching! Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your questions in the comments. See you next time on Explain Like I'm 5.